A nation that misplaces its memory soon begins to quarrel with its own reflection. A society without memory becomes an orphan in time. It is condemned to inherit confusion from one generation to the next. This is why we need the recollections of those who have walked the difficult path before us. Today offers us such a solemn privilege to see Nigeria reflected in the memory of one of the nation's most enduring custodians, a witness whose life has become part of the archive of the Republic. Autobiography, when written by a life of consequence, is one of the noblest forms of national archiving. It permits a citizen to return to the arena of action with the humility of hindsight. It allows power to explain itself after the noise of the moment has faded. It gives the Republic access to the inner weather of decisions that once appeared to the rest of us as thunder on the distant horizon. That is why we are gathered here today. We are here because General Gowon has given Nigeria a volume of memory at a time when our country needs the discipline of remembrance. We are here because the story of a man who stood at the center of Nigeria's most testing years cannot be left to fragments, suspicion, and careless narration. We are here because the past, when honestly preserved, becomes a compass for the future. The timing is instructive. About half a century ago, Nigeria was confronted by a crisis that tested the imagination of the state and the endurance of its people. General Gowon belonged to that severe hour. History placed upon his shoulders the burden of a country struggling to remain whole. The decisions of that period cannot be understood by those who examine them with the arrogance of comfort. They must be approached with sobriety, because every generation that inherits peace must learn to speak gently about the choices made in the season of peril. When the guns fell silent, Nigeria needed more than the silence of weapons. It needed the language of return, the syntax of healing, and the assurance that citizenship will not be reduced to a verdict passed by the bitterness of war. The famous declaration of no victor, no vanquish entered our national vocabulary because it answered a deep need in the soul of the Republic. It told a bruised country that survival will have to be built on reconciliation, and that reconciliation will have to be strengthened by policy, patience, and trust. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that is one of the reasons General Gowon's story remains indispensable. He understood that unity cannot be sustained by speeches alone. Unity must be given institutions. It must be given rituals of encounter. It must be given roads, schools, service, federal balance, and shared experiences that persuade citizens to see one another as partners in destiny. The National Youth Service Corps, for instance, stands in that tradition. For generations, young Nigerians have crossed the rivers of language, faith, and culture through that program. Many discovered, sometimes for the first time, that a stranger from another region could become a friend, a colleague, a spouse, a mentor, or for the first time witness to the vastness of Nigeria. The governor of Plateau State met and married his wife from Delta during his service here. General Gowon also represents a deeper rebuke to the merchants of division. In the lazy vocabulary of prejudice, the North is often misdescribed as one religious bloc, while the South is equally imprisoned in the stereotypes of those who profit from suspicion. His life compounds that poverty of imagination. Here was a Christian son of the North, a child of the North Central, a soldier, accepted across lines that others tried to harden into walls, a Nigerian whose example showed that identity can be carried without hostility. His story teaches us that the Nigerian project becomes stronger when a citizen refuses to become a weapon in the hands of sectarian entrepreneurs. General Gowon's place in history also travels beyond our borders. West Africa remembers him as one of the builders of regional cooperation. The formation of ECOWAS remains one of the great acts of political foresight on our continent. It was born from an understanding that neighboring nations must do more than exchange flags and ceremonies. They must exchange goods, ideas, security cooperation, diplomatic competence, and economic opportunity. In that vision, General Gowon saw West Africa as a community of shared burdens and shared possibilities. That regional vision is still urgent today. The challenges before West Africa have changed in form, yet their underlying demands remain familiar. We need cooperation against insecurity. We need trade that empowers our young people. We need diplomacy that prevents conflict from becoming contagion. We need a region where borders do not become barricades against prosperity. The wisdom embedded in the ECOWAS project continues to remind us that the destiny of Nigeria is tied to the stability and progress of its neighbors. Your Excellencies, Your Royal Highnesses, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there are people who are remembered because they held office. There are others whose memory endures because office became in their hands an instrument of national meaning. General Gowon belongs to the second company. His public life is inseparable from the story of Nigeria's survival. Yet his later years have given that story another kind of beauty. He has shown that dignity can outlive authority, that patriotism can outlast position, and that a former leader can remain a moral presence without turning himself into a rival institution. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is the gift of today's book. It offers younger Nigerians a chance to encounter leadership beyond slogans. It offers public servants a mirror in which to examine the course of decisions. It offers historians material for deeper study. It also offers policymakers a reminder that the state is built by memory as much as by law. It offers all of us a warning that countries do not endure by accident. They endure because in the hours when collapse appears possible, some men and women choose duty over vanity. General Yakubu Gowon's autobiography is therefore a civic inheritance. It should find its way into libraries, classrooms, barracks, universities, policy institutes, and homes. It should stimulate debate without malice. It should imbibe scholarship without prejudice. It should provoke gratitude without suppressing inquiry. A serious nation does not fear its history. A serious nation studies it, argues with it, learns from it, and uses it to build a wiser future for the citizenry. As we present this book to the public, we honor more than the author's longevity. We honor a life that has crossed the frontiers of command, exile, scholarship, elderhood, and service. We honor a Nigerian who has remained devoted to the peace of the country through many seasons of our national evolution. We honor a witness to history who has now placed his recollections in the custody of the Republic. On behalf of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, I congratulate General Yakubu Gowon, GCFR, on the public presentation of this autobiography. I commend the book to the conscience of our nation, to the curiosity of our young people, and to the judgment of history. Some few weeks back, I was opportune to be a party to a meeting of Plateau elders with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. There is a substantial Plateau presence here. I urge you, I beseech you, I beg you in the name of God, for the sake of the last man standing, Let us unite as a people. As Martin Luther King said, let us learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. To say that I was disappointed by that encounter is an understatement. I am a Kanuri man from Borno. Half of the people of Central Plateau are claiming descent from Borno. Moshere, the Ronko Shere, and 11 other allied tribes. The Magapal, the Ngas, the Bogom are all claiming descent from Borno. In the Ngas language, the name for head is Kla. In the Kanuri language is Kla. The name for leg in the Ngas language is Shi. In the Kanuri language is Shi. How are you? Aye is the same in Ngas and is the same in Kanuri. Some of the major dramatic personae in the episodes in Plateau are the Biroms. And the Biroms are claiming ancestry from Gobir. And if you take the picture of His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, and juxtapose it with that of His Royal Highness the Bongomjo, there is a remarkable resemblance, which shows that they are essentially the same people. I urge you, the people of Plateau, as a tribute to the last man standing, let us unite and face our challenges of poverty, insecurity, and destitution. We are all stakeholders in this project. We have to make peace, because there can never be development without peace, and there can never be peace without development. The proverbial Garden of Eden that Plateau is can generate billions in floriculture for the nation. There are certain crops that are unique to Plateau. We can grow avocados for export. We can expand the Jos Airport. We can grow flowers. We can even grow coffee. There is a Moishai coffee that is domiciled in Plateau. So Your Excellencies, Your Royal Highnesses, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria is a great country. 1 out of every 4 black men is a Nigerian. And by 2050, Nigeria will be the 3rd most populous nation on earth. We will surpass the United States. Our population will hit 440 million people. And by the end of the century, when all of us here have become poor tenants in the home of the earthworms, Nigeria will be the most populous nation on earth. 1 out of every 2 black men will be a Nigerian. I am proud to call myself a Nigerian. I would rather be a small fish in a big ocean than be a big fish in a small ocean. His Eminence the Sultan of Sokoto has been narrating this story of the family of the Sultan sending gallons of fura every week to General Yakubu Gowon in Dodon Barracks. Because of the trust and confidence, General Gowon was willingly, without any suspicion. But now, the game is different. Suspicion smears our relationships, and it ought not to be. We are essentially one people tied to a common destiny. And lastly, permit me to pay tribute to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on a similar episode. When we were campaigning for him to emerge as the aspirant of the APC, we were going around the north. You know, we the people of Borno, unlike the Sokoto people, we are the best dressed northerners. So I got some Wagambali materials and caps for him to blend with the northern crowd. So it fitted him very well. So his aides were saying, please produce more. It fitted him. Barely 3 months when we were sworn into office, some of my people from Borno came to him and said, please stop wearing those Shettima'S clothes. He must have charmed them, and you are going to die, and he will become the president. Just barely 3 months, and to the eternal credit of the president, When I came back from China, why I represented him at the Bells and Roads Initiative conference, he said, sit down. Your people came to me and said, I should stop wearing those braces you gave me. But he said their story did not add up, because when you gave me those braces, I was an aspirant. I wasn't the candidate. Neither were you the vice presidential candidate. For 1 week, to prove to them that he is not fetish, he wore those braces. These are some of the gimmicks that is taking place in power cycles in Nigeria nowadays. I want to thank you. Baba, Mona Alpari Dake, we are very, very proud of you. Keep on building bridges, and may you live long. May we witness your 100th birthday and 120th birthday celebration. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Long live.